Hi everybody, it's Dr. B. I am back with Toolkit Tuesdays. I started this when I had my book Unflappable first come out, and I did about a year of Unflappable Toolkit Tuesdays. And then I set it aside. There's a lot of stuff going on with the elections and whatnot. Anyway, I'm back. And why am I back? Because as many of you know, I wrote another book, and it's called The Book. How to Navigate Clocksuckers and Lead a Happy, Abundant Life. Now, what am I talking about today and how am I kicking this series off? Well, it's about clocksuckers and what we understand about clocksuckers, which are the things that take away our intentionality, our presence, our decision-making, and our efficiencies surrounding time. So what this is a toolkit of lots of different practices that will help you navigate clocksuckers. And sometimes you are the clocksucker. I apologize, but you are, because sometimes I am. And this is what I wanted to share today. So I came out with this book. I worked diligently with a team of people on pulling together really great content, structure, all the things that are needed in a book. And a lot of that comes down to editing and noticing errors and finding errors. Now, when I first published this book, one of the things that I noticed when we went after I had ordered, by the way, 100 copies of the book, is that if you look at this very closely, you'll see that the is not centered on book. It's centered on this, which I came to find out, but it wasn't centered in the book. And when I saw it, I couldn't unsee it. Now, I've shown this to so many people, had shown it to so many people. A team of people had edited it and never found that error. And even when I've given it to people, say, there's an error on the cover. They didn't see the. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. So if you are one of the early purchasers of this book, you now have a collector's item, because now the book has the centered. But we're not done with clocksuckers, because what does this have to do with clocksuckers? Well, when you get pulled into these errors and finding things that are wrong that you've done, a lot of people will stop and they will say, that's why I'm a perfectionist, because it has to be perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, life is not perfect. It is wholly and fully imperfect, and you will make mistakes. And the longer you sit in those mistakes and let them either deflate your confidence or your enthusiasm to move forward, or you start spinning on your own kind of self-talk that stops you from just picking up and making the best of it, that is when you become your own clocksucker. So I'm going to point out one more thing in this book. And again, if you have this version, so if you purchased this book more than, a few days ago, you will find this error in your copy. And you'll probably find some other errors. You can point them out to me. I'll try to fix them if I feel like fixing them. But I found this one because one of my clients, former clients, picked up the book and said, hey, I found an error. I'm like, are you kidding me? Because I kid you not. We found this error. We thought we corrected it 3 times, and we kept saying, oh yeah, no, it's fixed. And one of those things that your brain does is it corrects for the correction, and I didn't see it again. But if you open up your book, and I've opened it up here using my card, to this beautiful Mary Oliver quote that says, tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? You'll notice that it says you one wild and precious life, not your. So this is how we solve for clocksuckers. I want you to take your pen, and if you don't have one of the book, How to Navigate Clocksuckers pen, you can reach out to me, and maybe we'll meet up for coffee and we can do this. Click on it. Make sure you did. If you want it to look kind of close, I want you to get a black pen, which this is, and I want you to simply go in here and just add the little R. See the little R? Now it says your one wild and precious life. And what I want you to do with your one wild and precious life is not let yourself get drawn into the clocksuckers of perfection, because people, it's imperfect. Life is imperfect. The book is imperfect. Everybody is imperfect. And that's one of the tools in here, is perfectly imperfect. So pick up your copy today. Head on over to my website at drbridgetcooper.com or to Amazon and get it there. Share it with friends. Call me if you want me to come in and do a talk about how to not be a clocksucker or how to navigate clocksuckers, because I am excited to do that. And in another video, I'll tell you the story behind this book. And in the meantime, go be the light. And again, don't be a clocksucker. And yes, there's an L. Thanks, everybody. Bye.